Hi, in this session, we're going to talk about this keyword in Java. So let's first try to understand that why do we need this? So, the best way to understand anything obviously is to first understand that what is the problem that it's solving. So let's see that if we don't have this, or let's say we are writing a code that is not having this, right? So let's say we have this example class here. We have this setter method. So now let's say I create an object of this example, okay? So let's say we have this example object variable equal to new this example. So now what happens in this particular line is that when we do new this example, a new object gets created and this example points to that particular object, right? So now let's say I do example dot setter. So now what I am trying to do through this setter is that I want to set some value for this I, right? So let's say I do pass something here. So let's say it's int x and I is equivalent to x, okay? And here I'll be passing 10 obviously. So let's see what happens after this particular case. Let's add a print statement out there. Now let's run this and see what happens. So as you can see, 10 gets printed. Now let's say what happens is that I keep this local variable also as I. So now what is happening is that after I do this and I run again, you can see that we are getting I as 0. So this instance variable is not getting set. It's not getting the value that we were thinking it would get. Reason being here, I is the local variable and this I is the local variable. So basically we are giving back the local variable value to it. So there is no this I involvement over here, right? So this I is not getting initialized. So in this case, we will use the keyword this. So we have this dot I. So let's say I run this. What do we get? We get 10. So whenever we are inside a particular method and we want to use the object we are currently referring to. So in this example, what we are doing is we are referring to the object that was created here. So whatever object that was created here, if I want to refer to this particular object, we can use the keyword this. So this is the use case of this. We can use this to refer to the current object. Using this, we can access the variables or we can access the constructors as well. So let's see how we can use this in calling the constructor. So let's say here we have a constructor. Example. Let's first make a default constructor. And now what happens is that this default constructor calls some other constructor. Let's say I pass it to the value 20. We have already studied constructor in the previous video, right? So let's comment few lines. Let's just comment things here, right? So what we are doing right now is we are using another way to initialize I. So we have the object getting created here. This example is pointing to that object. We have removed this particular line. Now let's say when I run this particular code, what happens? So as you can see, 20 gets printed. Now I'll tell you what is happening here. So as soon as we have this particular thing, as soon as we create a new object, by default, this default constructor gets called, right? And what is happening in this constructor is that this constructor is in turn calling the constructor which is having one parameter, one int parameter, right? So this particular constructor is getting called. So as you can see, what we are doing is by using this keyword, I'm calling the constructor of this particular class which is accepting one parameter or having one parameter which is this. Hence, this particular constructor gets called. So we have seen various ways in which we can use this. Usage of this makes your code really simple. So make sure you understand it well. Also because this keyword is a very famous interview question as well and you can get it in some MCQs as well. Okay.